Okay, I just got back from seeing the Joker and I enjoyed it. So if that was a review, if you want to know what I thought about it, I enjoyed it, liked it. Go see it. I got lucky enough to see it for $8. Middle of nowhere, North Carolina, with only about 20 people in the theater. That seats about 150. Uh, so yeah, it was good. It was honestly, it was a love letter to Scorsese. It was. I saw the images. I'm like, oh, it's King of Comedy. It's just the Joker with King of Comedy. If you don't know King of Comedy, that is a Robert De Niro film who is in this film. That is about an obsessed guy who lives with his mother. He's obsessed with becoming this, talk show. He's like the king of comedy, like the late night stand up comedian. This funny guy, and it was a movie from the set. Was it 81? It's around the same time this time frame of the film takes place. It's a period piece. Garbage stacks 7 feet high, rats running the streets, everything just grimy, like nasty New York from the 70s and 80s, unlike the kind of Disneyfied New York, the yuppie paradise that is today, where the super rich only live there. Like, it's crazy that New York used to have slums. Like, the Lower East Side was a bad place to live. Sort of Jack Kirby and Co. were running the streets, had street gangs, the West Side Story, that kind of stuff. But now it's like, oh, it's all kind of, corporatized. And in a way, the movie talks about that a bit. Yeah, it does get a tiny, tiny bit woke. There's some resist signs and stuff that gets a little anti-Trumpian. You want to look at it that way. It wasn't that didn't feel period appropriate, but it was not that big of a deal. Joaquin Phoenix knocks it out of the park. Honestly, he did a better job than Ledger, but it was also focused on you know the Joker, the character, this guy who's literally being kicked around for his whole life, who's got this little laminated card. Forgive me, I have a medical condition. I laugh at inappropriate times. The guy's crazy. I'll get into I guess spoilers. So from this point, I enjoyed the film. I recommend you go and seeing it. But spoilers from this point on. There's a little. Okay, you still with me? Okay, fine. They actually went and did this, or aren't they related? Batman and Joker. It's like Thomas Wayne supposedly had an affair with this woman named Penny, which is Arthur. Even though it's like, is that his real name? Was he adopted? It's kind of this. What's reality? What's he making up? What's all in his head? Was his mother crazy the whole time, or was the fact that she was jilted made her crazy, or the fact that Thomas Wayne in this film, like he punches Arthur, sneaks into a theater to watching old Charlie Chaplin films, and Thomas Wayne's there, and is like, your mother's crazy, and then punches Arthur's, did see young Bruce and then put his thumbs in Bruce's mouth and see, you can make a smile. I'm making a smile. And Alfred shows up and like tells him, get lost. Your mother was crazy. Everybody's like, your mother's crazy. Your mother's crazy. And your mother's like, oh, had to sign an NDA and he's not helping us out and all this and that. And it was actually, it's like one of those things. Like Thomas Wayne in this film is like, there's a, it's like the ambiguity. I like that. It's like, but of course, there's going to be like, Joker explained, are Batman and the Joker truly related? It's like that kind of garbage. It's like, why you gotta have something explained to you? You know what? It's like was, the, have to, like, what did this mean? Like, interpret it for yourself. Think for yourself. You're an independent human being. You know, do I have to what do you think of this? Oh God, it's like praying to the gods of like it says sacrificing goats and other animals. It's like sacrificing. Well, you donate money to the gods too. Yeah, it very much is like ancient Greece and Rome and all that kind of stuff. You know, to get have some priest or something, like a priest or priestess, like, yes, it's okay. Yes, the Joker and Batman are really related. That's why Batman would never kill the Joker. But the musical choice, the music itself, the score, the songs and stuff like that. Nothing was like Cream. White Room was a little maybe a little out of place though. Rock and Roll Part Two, which is like I was like I liked it. It's funny this they cut back on these social services programs, and so he stops Arthur Joker stops taking his medicine, and so he starts acting more and more crazy. Like there's a scene where he's doing he's a party clown, and he's doing a little party clown in the hospital for a cancer ward or the children's ward at a hospital, and he ends up dancing, and his 38 revolver falls out. He's like he kicks it. He's trying to grab at it, but with his big bozo feet, he kicks it. And then he's like, oh, he's like, shh, you didn't see nothing. He gets fired. He's just gets ass kicked by unruly street gang of teenage kids, like little youths, and it's got really absurd humor to a degree, like violently absurd. Like it's funny, but you shouldn't be laughing. Uh, okay, since it's spoiler section, there's a segment where he kills a guy. The two men walk in. One's a dwarf. One's a regular sized man, and they both walk in. He stabs a regular sized man. The dwarf, he tells the dwarf he can leave. The dwarf tries to leave, but he's locked the door. The dwarf tries to leave. He's just like jumps out and scares. Leaps, lurches for the dwarf, freaks the dwarf out. I'm just kidding. Would you go? So the dwarf goes. I can't reach the top lock, and has to ask for help. And it's just it was funny because it was so. It's like the gallows humor. It's like uncomfortable laugh, and that's what the movie. There's some really good stuff in this movie that does well. Visual, it looks great. Uh, yeah, honestly, I have to say, like I couldn't help but think of Logan because the much more grounded, rated R, less. This is a part of a bigger universe kind of crap. It felt standalone, even though Logan, you got all the stuff from the previous X-Men films. It felt like you could understand what's going on. This is a guy that's like, it's a cowboy kind of thing that's got this whole past and everything, this dark past, and he's paying for his sins. And this is like it felt very standalone. She didn't have like I didn't sit around for no mid credit sequence. Maybe there is. Maybe there's a post credit. Please for the love of God, no. But but there's it felt a whole complete film, actual film, which is very rare these days, especially by just making tentpole features and all that kind of garbage. But I quite enjoyed it, and if you've seen it and enjoyed it, leave a comment. But honestly, if you've seen it and you haven't seen King of Comedy or Taxi Driver or Clockwork Orange, like there's some very Kubrickian camera shots. There's some it's very Martin Scorsese like. A little bit of Abel Ferrara, Bad Lieutenant. I hated Bad Lieutenant because it's like the nun being abused that way and then forgiving people. Forgiveness is not in my nature. But yeah, it was actually it did borrow a lot from Dark Knight Returns. So they cannot, nobody can get away from Frank Miller. Frank Miller has put his mark, indelible mark on Batman, Joker, and everything around that. Everything has been in a good way. No Frank Miller, none of this. But that's my thoughts. Wrapping it up here. Have yourselves a good evening. Enjoy the movie, and that's it.